Welcome to today's Explainer. We are jumping right into the thick of it today, pun intended, because this topic is just too massive, too awe-inspiring to waste time on standard agendas. We're getting straight to the heart of what keeps our world breathing, functioning, and ecologically alive. Today, we're talking about the true power of the rainforests. So think about this for a second. What ecosystem holds over half the world's terrestrial species, but covers less than 7% of the Earth's surface? It's a staggering contrast, right? When you actually picture that level of density, literally half of all land-based life crammed into such a tiny, concentrated fraction of the globe, it really hits you. This isn't just a bunch of trees. It's the biological epicenter of our entire planet.
Section 1. The engines of Earth. Let's look at their immense scale.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how it totally shatters a concept most of us were probably taught in grade school. You know the myth, right? That rainforests are the lungs of the Earth, constantly pumping out an endless supply of oxygen for us. Well, actually, scratch that. The reality is they're more like a massive global carbon vault. Mature rainforests are actually pretty close to carbon neutral. Instead of being these infinite oxygen factories, they're locking away just unfathomable amounts of carbon dioxide in their heavy biomass and complex soils, keeping it safely out of our atmosphere.
And honestly, their engineering power goes way beyond just storing carbon. Get this, the Amazon rainforest literally generates its own rainfall. Through this wildly cool biological process called evapotranspiration, billions of trees act like giant water pumps, releasing so much water vapor into the air that they actively drive cloud formation. So they aren't just reacting to the climate around them, they are actively engineering it, cooling our global and regional climates in the process.
Section 2. A treasure trove of life. Let's explore the hyperdense biodiversity hidden deep within these environments.
50%. Just let that number sink in. Half of all known terrestrial species live right here in these forests. It's a giant puzzle of incredibly complex food webs and high species specialization. We're talking about everything from jaguars stalking the Amazon floor to orangutans swinging through Southeast Asia to gorillas navigating the Congo Basin. And honestly, that's not even counting the millions, literally millions of plant and insect species scientists haven't even documented yet.
And this brilliantly illustrates how this global ecology grounds itself directly into our everyday human lives. A whopping 25%, that's 1/4 of all our modern pharmaceuticals, are derived directly from rainforest plants. We're talking about life-saving medical compounds pulled straight out of the jungle canopy. And with so many species still completely undiscovered, the potential for new medicines is just off the charts. So when we talk about preserving this ecosystem, we're really talking about protecting the foundation of modern healthcare.
Section 3. The first guardians. Let's shift our focus to the human element.
You see, indigenous peoples have lived in and sustainably managed these forests for thousands of years. They are the primary stewards. They maintain this incredibly deep, generational knowledge about forest dynamics, and they actively protect those exact medicinal plant sources we were just talking about. And here is the absolute crucial takeaway. The data backs this up. Research consistently proves that deforestation rates are significantly lower in indigenous managed territories compared to completely unprotected areas. They are, without a doubt, the most effective frontline defenders of these ecosystems.
Section 4, a system under siege. Now we need to take a serious look at the current reality.
This brings us to a stark, unavoidable question. What happens when the engine stops? We've just seen how these forests regulate the climate, lock away carbon, and house half of all land life. So, knowing that immense value, we really have to look at the powerful forces that are threatening to bring this whole planetary system to a grinding halt.
Okay, let's dive into this and look at the exact human activities driving this destruction. First up is massive agricultural expansion, specifically clearing out huge tracts of land for cattle ranching and soy production. Then you have extensive logging operations, both legal and illegal, just stripping away the canopy. Add to that the infrastructure development that cuts roads deep into untouched areas, plus the highly destructive mining and resource extraction that poisons the soil and water. These are the factual realities rapidly eating away at the edges and the heart of the forest.
Let's move to the next point and see how this builds into a terrifying domino effect. Scientists call this the climate feedback loop. Step 1, as we lose those trees to the drivers we just talked about, we see a massive reduction in carbon absorption. Step 2, that directly leads to a spike in atmospheric CO2 and higher global temperatures. And then, Step 3, the tipping point. The extreme heat and increased droughts can trigger an irreversible transformation,
turning lush rainforests into dry, savanna-like landscapes. It's a total ecosystem collapse from which there's simply no return. Now you might be wondering, how does a savanna thousands of miles away actually affect me? Well, consider this. Disrupted water cycles mean a huge increase in drought risk globally. Remember that moisture recycling, the evapotranspiration we talked about earlier? When the rainforest stops pumping all that water vapor into the atmosphere, regional and global rainfall patterns shift dramatically. That directly threatens agriculture all over the world. So the loss of the rainforest isn't just some distant tragedy. It's a literal threat to the stability of the food sitting on your dinner plate.
Section 5. How we save them. Let's pivot to some urgent but optimistic solutions.
So the crucial point is understanding how massive international frameworks connect directly with your daily life. On the global scale, we've got international treaties like the Paris Agreement, REDD+ programs aiming to slash emissions from deforestation, and heavy lifting from NGOs like the World Wildlife Fund. But look at the other side. You have tangible, individual power too. You can reduce your paper and wood consumption, actively avoid products linked to deforestation, like unsustainable palm oil and beef, and deliberately choose to support FSC-certified products. Your daily economic choices literally fund or fight the destruction we saw earlier.
I want to leave you with this incredibly powerful thought to wrap up our explainer today. The future of rainforests is inseparable from the future of humanity itself. These vibrant ecosystems are our planetary climate regulators, our global pharmacies, and our massive water pumps. The actions we take right now, both at the global policy level and in our everyday individual choices, will absolutely dictate the future of this planet. Thanks so much for exploring the engines of our Earth with me today. Stay curious, keep learning, and hey, I challenge you to look at your next trip to the grocery store entirely through the lens of the rainforest.